Did you have your DMSO today? You might have had it in your morning coffee or your tea, or if you ate a tomato or an apple or a handful of raspberries. Here's the part that gets me. This is interesting. The internet loves to call natural stuff maybe exotic or fringe, or in this case, maybe that weird industrial chemical thing. So let me ask you something. How does a compound get labeled exotic or strange or even dangerous when the earth itself produces 20 to 60 billion pounds of this every single year? 20 to 60 billion pounds. And you've been eating and drinking it your entire life without a single problem. It's natural. It's part of nature. So stick with me for the next few minutes, because once you see where DMSO actually comes from, you'll never think of it as exotic again. You realize it's been in the room the whole time. Anyway, welcome to the Herbal Mana Podcast. I'm Todd Bailey, one of the founders of Herbal Mana, and we're going to dive into something natural today, DMSO. We're going to talk about where it comes from, how it occurs in nature. And in this case, it's a lot more common than you might think. So where does it actually come from? Let me take you to the most unlikely place, the middle of the ocean. Out in the open sea, you've got these microscopic plants, phytoplanktons, itty-bitty things, billions and billions of them drifting in the sunlight. And as they live and break down, they release a sulfur gas called dimethyl sulfide. It's DMS, dimethyl sulfide. That's the smell you get at the beach, that ocean air kind of smell. That sulfur from sea life floating up into the sky. Now here's where it gets beautiful. That gas rises into the atmosphere, sunlight and oxygen then go to work on it, and it transforms into, DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide. Then it comes back down to the earth in the form of rain, or at least a part of the rain. Goes into the soil, into the rivers, into the plants, into the food cycle, and into us. That is not some kind of fringe theory. That's the global sulfur cycle, basic earth science. And researchers estimate that that ocean process, followed by the rain, produces that 20 to 60 billion pounds of DMSO in our atmosphere every year. Boy, let that number sink in. Before any company ever bottled it, before any lab touched it, before anybody tried to turn it into a DMSO product, it was already available on a planetary scale. We didn't invent it. We just found it, noticed it, started to use it. And it's on your plate. It's in what you drink. So how does it get there? First of all, it comes through the rainwater and then into the food sources that we eat, the food sources that we drink. Scientists have actually measured this. Naturally occurring DMSO is identified in all sorts of things. If you eat vegetables, and I hope you do, you're going to find it in, asparagus, onions, beans, cabbage, cucumber, Swiss chard, corn, beets, tomatoes. I'm probably leaving a few out, but all of those have it. And for fruits, berries, apples. For grains, it's going to go up in the oats and barley and other plants too, like alfalfa. So when you drink your coffee, DMSO, tea, beer, oh yeah, and even in your milk and any of your milk products, even in your yogurt. So let me say that again, because this one gets some people. Milk, dairy products. It's going to have naturally occurring DMSO because the plants, especially alfalfa, take in the DMSO as part of that sulfur cycle. And the most potent source, I think, is black tea. So if you have black tea, you have your cup in the afternoon, then you're getting the most potent source for DMSO. Very healing, very helpful for the system. So you're not just taking a break and not just getting your little pick-me-up. You're actually doing some wonderful things internally for your body. So think about that, what that means. For years, people have said this compound, this DMSO, might be questionable. It's not natural. Well, that's baloney. It's not something to be afraid of. And it's something that's very common. If you were ever made to feel foolish for being curious about DMSO, well, set that aside. You were the smart one. You were the one that was on top of it. Forget about the exotic label. Forget about the weird label. It's just part of the sulfur cycle. And in fact, we've got to have sulfur as part of our body, or we just don't exist. I think it's the number 7 most common element in our bodies. Without sulfur, we're done. Absolutely done. So why do we care about the sulfur and the DMSO? A couple of reasons. First, DMSO is part of the sulfur family. Sulfur is a building block for the body. Got to have it. In fact, your body processes DMSO, and one of the things it turns into is DMSO. If you'd see it written out, it's DMSO and then a little subscript 2, which is better known as MSM. MSM is one of the supplements we buy for joint support. It really helps to soothe and make the joints work better. It makes the body work better. Another reason that DMSO is helpful is it's anti-inflammatory. It's soothing. It soothes those hot joints, those achy muscles. And it's, of course, transdermal. It's awesome by itself, and it helps bring other awesome things into your body. That's what we've built into that Warrior line of products that we have. Now, on the safety side, DMSO is fine. It's safe. It's great. The only things you have to be aware of is when you put the DMSO on, make sure your skin is clean. And also, if you're on prescription medications, DMSO can amp up the body's absorption of those prescription drugs. Just make sure you're keeping in touch with your healthcare providers whenever you change your routine. Now, as far as our products, we created Alpha Warrior DMSO because it's a great way to soothe muscles. It soothes nerves. For my joints, I'm an Alpha Warrior guy. In the morning, before the gym, and after the gym, Alpha Warrior, because it just takes care of the pain. It has all of the other ingredients I need to support what I'm doing. And in particular, to get that DMSO in where it's going to help my joints, my aches, and all of those post-surgical things I still deal with, having had a couple dozen surgeries. For an overall use, I love Royal. I even use it on my face. It's gentle. It's great. It's got a lot of hyaluronic acid. Anyway, I hope you know now that DMSO is a lot more common than people think. It's everywhere. It's all around us. It's in what we eat and much of what we drink. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope that it helps you to hurt less and live more. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who could benefit from it. Thanks for joining me today, and go get that DMSO.